I've officially made it to Switzerland. I've been here for the last 4 days. Today is my last full day and it is jam-packed, and I have been trying to film this intro for the last hour and a half. I hate to admit that because it started downpouring. Of course, my main filming day, we get weather like this. And hopefully in a little bit you'll be able to see an amazing view. So I have a little pocket room where I can catch you up, and as you can see, this view behind me is insane. But let's fast forward to my first day in Switzerland. And if you saw my last week's video, I was in Germany, and from Germany I went to Zurich, where I spent one night and I stayed in a 4-person mixed dorm. There was one other girl in there and she was from Chicago. She was so nice, but she was working the whole time, so I tried to sneak in clips when she stepped away for a second because I'm not gonna film her. The first thing I decided to do in Zurich was go to this insane view, and honestly that was the highlight of Zurich for me, just because Zurich was a city and I am really just coming to terms that I don't care for bigger cities. I think I've always known that, but I always try to like them. I don't know. So I got to the top, and at the top there's a hotel, a restaurant, a snack bar, and then there's this tower, and I went to go pay for the tower because I want to experience it. And I go to ask the guy, where do I pay? He said, oh, today is free because the machine's broken. And I'm like, oh, sweet. So I can just go? And he's like, yeah, go for it. So I went to the top. Insane. I would have loved to stay for sunset, but since I was only in Zurich for a short period of time, I wanted to make sure I saw as much as I could. But up at the top, you can see all of Zurich, and you can just see out into the distance, and it's never-ending mountains, and it's beautiful. I decided to get a beer and a bratwurst. I ate up there, chilled for a little bit, and then I made my way back down. I just walked the streets, and then I came across this flower clock that actually worked, and that was cool. And then I ended up just sitting down by the lake, and there's a fountain on the lake, and it was going off, but at night it lights up. I wanted to wait for it to get dark. It was cool seeing it lit up. And then I made my way back to the hostel, and then I woke up super early. Since I got to Zurich late afternoon, I decided I wanted to spend my morning and early afternoon there before I headed to my next destination. I made my way to Basel, and I had a hostel there for 2 nights, and I stayed in a 6-person female only dorm, which was nice. And then what I also liked was the bathrooms were detached, but the showers were shared, but you locked yourself in the individual shower room. The only downside to this hostel was it was 96 degrees and there was no air conditioning, and the first night one of the girls in the room decided to shut the window. I was in a hot box. It was a sauna. I'm not gonna lie, miserable. But overall, the hostel was super nice because there was a patio, a bar, seating areas, a bunch of tables. And once I got to Basel, I kind of realized, okay, this really isn't the vibe. I was gonna go to Lucerne, which the reason why I didn't go to Lucerne is because there was no hostels available and accommodation was so expensive. So the next day, I got up super early and headed to Lucerne. It's a little over an hour train from Basel. First thing I did was went to this famous wooden bridge. It's absolutely gorgeous. The flower pots on the outside, and then the inside has these murals that are just beautiful. It's every little detail, and it's truly crazy when you just look out and you see castles and clocks and mountains and pretty bright blue lakes and rivers. And then after that, I made my way to the Lion Monument, and I just can't believe someone made that. Absolutely stunning. And then you could also see the reflection from the pond of it, and something that I honestly enjoy, because when you first walk into the Lion Monument, you just see greenery, you don't see the wall yet. So when people turn the corner, they're just, because I did the same thing, and I got on the bench for a little bit and I people watched because I love people watching, and just seeing their reactions is so, I just love it. And then after the Lion Monument, I ended up going to this castle wall, but then I came across this clock tower and I realized, okay, I want to go up there. I made my way up there. It was free, and while I was up there, if you know me, I love when bells go off, but the bells were going off and it was just a great experience. But the stairs were brutal. I'm not gonna lie, they were steep. sleep. There was a lot of them and it was extremely hot. And what made it feel so hot was the humidity. The humidity was just really getting to me, and after spending that night where I didn't really sleep and I was drenched in sweat, all I wanted was to cool down. So after that, I did bring my bathing suit and an extra dress with me. I figured it was gonna be another hot day. I wanna go swimming. So I made my way to the beach, and as I was making my way down, I needed to drink some water. So I sat on this bench, drank some water, and I noticed these binoculars, and they weren't normal binoculars. I decided to go look in them, and it ended up being a vintage looking photo, which I thought was just so random and fun. I love seeing things like that. So I made my way to this beach, and you're swimming with swans. It's actually crazy. I didn't want to film too much because there's kids, people in bathing suits, and a lot of times kids aren't fully dressed. Respecting people's privacy. I got in. I didn't get my hair wet because I knew I needed to get back on a train, and the thought of having wet hair on a public train sounded gross to me, but the water was ice cold and it was so refreshing. After that whole night I had, it was great. And I got back onto a train to Basel. I decided to walk around some more. I came across this church and it was absolutely stunning. The stained glass, just the detail was beautiful, and I noticed they had these towers because when I was on the outside I could see this girl walking along the edge. Whenever I see a tower, I want to go in it. And when I went to ask the lady, I saw a sign and it said 2 people, and so I asked her, like, I can't go up there by myself, and she said no, unfortunately, for safety reasons. But then this lady whips out a map and she's like, this is something you'll really like. It's a rooftop bar, and she circled it, and I'm like, we're in a church right now and you're recommending a rooftop bar? I just thought it was funny, but it was super nice of her to do that because you could tell she felt bad, so she was trying to come up with another alternative. But throughout Basel there were some crazy art murals, and then there was this one art piece. I at first actually thought it was a real person falling. I just saw it on the corner of my eye and then I had to do a double look. Then I came across this really cool building, and then they were setting up a bunch of food stands and small little carnival rides, and they were also setting up a stage. But I wanted to see what the building was all about, and there was murals every corner and inch of that building, and it was beautiful. I also noticed a bunch of fireworks stands, so I decided to Google what event was going on. It was Switzerland's National Day, and it was July 31st, but it's on August 1st. Fireworks started late afternoon and went all night, and they got louder and louder and louder. And I was in the hostel at 10 p.m. that night. I decided I was gonna switch my whole plan because I was gonna go to another city, and I was like, no, I need to find a will and a way to be in a smaller town and closer to nature. I made it work. I ended up going to Bern. I have 2 nights there. My first night was last night, and it is a hostel. There's no dorm style available, so I do have a private room, and the private room has a balcony. So yes, I did spend a little bit more on accommodations, but I have a whole room to myself. I do share the bathroom still. You also get free breakfast. Something I do want to mention, in Switzerland, at least the hostels that I've been staying at, they give you a bus pass for that city, which I think is kind of nice, and it kind of makes up for the higher prices that you are spending on accommodations. And I arrived to Bern, I put everything in the room, and then I decided to explore, and I went to their main strip where this beautiful clock tower is. There was flags all down this thing. It was so pretty. Everyone was just so happy. I was a little nervous that it was a holiday because I wasn't sure if anything was going to be open. Shopping stores were all closed besides grocery stores, and a lot of the restaurants were still open. Plus they have a festival go on from that main strip in the clock tower. To follow that path, I ended up coming across this bridge. The water is absolutely gorgeous, and then on the left was beautiful buildings, another clock, and then on the right you could see a church on one side, and then the other side there was a bear park, and the bear park was free because you could just see the exhibit from the bridge, from the side, from down below, and I was able to see 3 bears. I don't know how many bears they actually had in the park. Seeing the bears with that view was insane. Do I feel bad for the bears? A little bit, but maybe I honestly should look into this because I didn't read because they didn't have anything in English. I wonder if the bears were rescued. I don't know. I should look into that because it is kind of sad. I wanted to make my way to that church, so I started walking back, and that's when it just started downpouring. I knew it was gonna rain, so I brought my umbrella. I just walked along the outside of the church. I made my way to the front of the church, and the detail of the outside, I know I say this a lot, but it's just insane. It's mind-blowing. It's so beautiful. This church also had amazing stained glass windows, and they were massive. I feel like the camera does not do it justice on how big these windows are. When I left the church, it was still raining. I knew that clock and that pretty street at the beginning, people most likely weren't going to be there because no one wants to be out in the rain. So I decided to make my way back over there, which was super close to the church. I came across this guy playing music, and everyone was just underneath, staying out of the rain, listening to him sing and play. I don't know what that instrument is called, but it was beautiful. Since there was the festival going on, I decided to go back over there. It's still raining, so I'm like, oof, people cleared out. No one's here. Let me get some food. And I got this fry bread that had garlic oil, sour cream, and cheese, and it was delicious. It stopped raining and music started playing and people started coming back over. I just hung out there for a little bit, and then I ended up making my way to the Rose Garden, which ended up being close to the Bear Park. It was just up higher. The Rose Garden was absolutely beautiful, and just seeing the view of the town from up there is absolutely gorgeous. I honestly, if I make it back in time, that's where I want to watch sunset. And I just want to make it clear, fireworks were still going off, and I thought it was gonna be done. No, they went till 1 a.m. last night. They do not mess around with Swiss National Day. I thought 4th of July people went all out. No, come to Switzerland, that day is a day. I did end up doing some laundry, especially since I repulsively was sweating in my pajamas. I knew I wanted to wash them, and since I had the balcony, I took full advantage of doing the small amount of laundry that I did have, hanging that up. They probably smell like fireworks smoke because there was kids playing with firecrackers and little sparklers below, which is totally fine. It was fun to watch, and I liked being on the balcony. I could not get any clips of this, but you could see fireworks going off, and oh my gosh, it was great. And I went to bed, woke up for breakfast, and then I got on a train that was 1 hour and 20 minutes to Lauterbrunnen. I'm just gonna go to this city and 2 other cities that are on the way back to Bern. I physically can't. It's like that. Another waterfall. There's another waterfall in the distance over there. It's just 360 all the way around. It honestly took a disgusting amount of time to do this whole intro, but you know what? It's okay. So now we kind of have a little bit later start on our jam-packed day, but I can't be mad. I can't be mad because there's views like this. Start making our way. And technically I already came from this whole direction because I knew I wanted to set up and do our little talk, but then it just downpoured. So look at this cloud right now. Crazy. The second it stopped raining and that sun was out, you just see paragliders coming down, and it made me want, like, okay, where do I go paragliding? Which, thought about it, can't spend the money on it. People that were coming down were all solo. I'm like, they're probably up there just getting drenched. And then at breakfast today, I did take a banana and apple. I'm gonna eat the banana now while we start making our walk back. If only I had a camper van, I would 100% be down there. Another thing, I don't know why the falls is now brown. It was not like that when I first got here. Do I do it? This water is usually neon blue, but since the rain, I think it just made it all crazy, which is kind of unfortunate, but what can you do? So pretty. The waterfall there, and it looks like it's slowly starting to clear up, which is nice. This view right now is insane, and I'm trying to get some photos right here, but I'm kind of backlit. But oh my gosh, I just walked the shops, making my way to the train station. I wish I had more time here, but I just don't. Originally, I wasn't even gonna come here today, and I was just gonna go to Interlaken and then Thun. I just made it to Interlaken, and it was about a 22-minute train ride from Lauterbrunnen. And I will say, I don't wanna say I regret going there, but I just have major FOMO. because there were so many outdoor activities that I wanted to do and I just couldn't. One, super expensive. Like, I would have totally done the paragliding. And then there was a lot of hiking trails. I was a little sad on the train because I was like, well, when am I gonna be here again? I should have just spent the money to do it. But then it also would have been more time that I needed to be there, and I just didn't have that. And now I'm really on a different schedule because originally I was just gonna come to Interlaken and then go to Thun. For some reason, the train ride to Ladderbruin was cheaper. I don't regret, but I also regret. So when I was on the train to here, I'm sitting here sad because I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I don't know when I'm gonna be here again. And there's so many things I want to do, but I don't have the time and it's expensive. I'm having FOMO. Yeah, I was like getting teary-eyed. I'm like, why am I being emotional right now? I'm still in Switzerland and I still have this place. So I think I will spend the money to go on this little gondola ride. And since I have not eaten anything besides breakfast and then that banana, and it's almost 4, there's a restaurant at the top, so I'll treat myself because I was gonna treat myself to a nicer meal today. And one last thing I'm gonna complain about and be frustrated about before we turn the day around is I am getting sick. And what's crazy is last week I go, wow, I can't believe I haven't gotten sick because I've been on so many buses, so many trains, and I haven't been cautious of anything. Like, I'm not, this is probably gonna sound disgusting, but when I eat a meal, like, I just don't think about all the things that I just touched. Once I realized that I was kind of doing that last week, I decided to start using hand sanitizer. And I kid you not, ever since I started using hand sanitizer, I got sick, which is just crazy to me because that's helped kill germs. And I think another thing that kind of set me down, kind of getting sick right now, is sleeping in that hot room because that's kind of where it really took off. Hopefully this is my only real day of sickness. I wish I could say I'm about to be positive, but this is honestly the reality. To be fair, I have gone over a month with not feeling drained and not feeling sick. It was eventually gonna catch up to me, so I'm not gonna sit here and lie and continue smiling to camera. I'm struggling. I get the ticket to get onto the lift, and the lift line I had to wait 30 minutes. It was very squished and there was only like little windows open and I already don't feel the best and I thought I was gonna pass out. There was this one person that kept looking at me and I was like, because I think he knew like I did not look good. I did not look good. I literally thought I was just gonna hit the ground and I was like, okay, I just need to get food in me. So I walk up the hill, the restaurant is literally right there and there was a perfect table open with an amazing view and I was like, look, see, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. They had freshly squeezed orange juice, which I was like, I need to get some vitamin C in me. It was pulp. I don't care for pulp, but I devoured that orange juice and no one come at me. I did get an Aperol spritz. It was $4. It was $4. I shouldn't have. I don't regret it because I was already feeling bad. And then I got an Angus beef burger and I started eating the onion ring on top and realized, oh, I need to film. So I filmed and then I devoured that entire thing. It was so good, worth every single penny. And then I was like, I feel good again. I just needed the food. And then I go to the point and then I had to stand in line to take a photo. And honestly, usually I would just whip out my tripod, but I was like, you know what? Luckily there was a girl behind me that knew what she was doing and she took some good photos. And then I also took some videos. The view was absolutely amazing. So pretty. I loved every minute of it. The fact that I don't feel good right now makes it so hard because it's like, Haley, you had a view. I know. Paid for the lift, so I'm like, I'm gonna stay up here for a little bit, enjoy it. I'm sitting down on this bench in the corner, part of the restaurant. There's a mirror wall and it looks so cool. Just the reflection of it, I loved it. So I took a little video of that. Then while I was sitting there, I was like, I need to make a decision. I started Googling. I'm pretty sure I'm saying Thun wrong. Thun, I don't know. I don't know, just let my brain be. But that was my original plan. I was gonna go there. I can't walk. My legs don't want to move. My body aches. I'm pretty sure I have a fever right now, so that's great. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out what I was gonna do, my game plan, and then I was like, okay, well, if I go there, then I have to be like, quick. Am I sad that I can't do it now? Yes, but I need to look out for me and my health. So get your booty back on the train and get back to the hostel. I'm gonna stay in one spot for 3 to 4 days and just let my body rest. And the place I'm going is so cheap for accommodations. And I think I just need to recoup there. I make my way back to the train and I saw that that, there was 2 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to run right now, because if I didn't make that train, I would have had to wait 30 to 40 minutes and I couldn't do it. A lot of people like me that were running, and I got the last seat, a single seat table, and the girl on the other side coughing up a lung. She was around my age and we did not say one word to each other, but we both were just die. But you could just tell, like, look at me right now, I look unwell. But the views on the train were beautiful. I walked 20 minutes to the hostel, or I could just have waited for the bus. And I got back to the hostel and now I'm here, and all I want to do is sit down in the shower, but I can't do that. This is a public shared bathroom and I just want to sit and let the water hit my head. I absolutely love Switzerland. I love the small towns. There's just so much to do with Switzerland. I'm not one to say this, but I feel like with Switzerland you kind of need to have a plan, and just everyone is here right now. Everyone. I have regrets of not doing things, but at the same time I had no plan going into this, so I can't be so hard on myself, and I'm still so young and I still can make it back out here. So make sure you like and comment on this video and share with a friend or family member. Then maybe we can go back to Switzerland and try this again. Hopefully by next week I'm not like this anymore, because it sucks. It sucks.